Halfway through the challenge with Kiara LaShae, you guys, I have definitely seen some results from working out with her Dance Tabata Season 2 workout. So y'all can get booty bands, water bottles, weight snatchers, yogi fits, anything that you need to work out and get your workout journey popping with Kiara LaShae. And also, don't forget to check out ISOT because it definitely helps getting rid of bloats. So go ahead and get down below in my description box and check it out, y'all. Get this workout journey popping. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue, and I am back for another family or fiance review, y'all. Okay, I hope this looks good. Okay, y'all, let me know. I have to get another camera, I know, but it's just gonna take me a little while. For now, the cell phone with the great camera on it should do well. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? Let's go ahead and get into family or fiance. Brittney and Patrick have been together for 3 years, and they have been engaged for a year and a half. All right. Patrick's family feels like he's changing in order to be in this relationship with Brittney. And Brittney also had a really bad previous relationship. I kind of get annoyed when people don't go into detail. Like, if you're going to come on a show like this, please go into detail. At least to give us, understanding of what that relationship was like. However, it seemed in some way abusive just based off of the way she comes off. Okay, right now I'm feeling like I've seen this couple before, or at least seen y'all have this perception of the girlfriend. Like, I'm so annoyed with this perception of the girlfriend. Like, she's bougie. No, she's uncomfortable. You're abrasive, and y'all are just not clicking. But to always dismiss people as being bougie because they have high standards and you don't, like, stop trying to make people feel bad about that by, labeling them bougie, even though you don't really know anything about them. Like, that's just weird to me. So when his family gets there, it is very standoffish. Specifically this cousin, or friend. Is it a friend? Jameson? Yeah, no, it's the friend. The cousin was also giving me like way too much. Okay, giving me way too much. The sister was just moving from a place of not knowing. And I also feel like whenever somebody's, little brother comes home with a cute girl and you have self-confidence issues, or you feel insecure because she may come off like, she's feeling herself, or her wig is nice, or she's wearing expensive this or that, or just making your little brother step his game up, everybody wants to get upset. And what you don't seem to understand is usually women make men step their game up. That is the entire point. Like, you men would do, like, y'all wouldn't even care about half of the shit y'all care about if it wasn't for the women you want or the women you have. Okay, so or if you're gay, the men you want or the men you have. Okay, y'all know what I'm saying. All in all, I just feel like it's really ridiculous when people always feel like the girlfriend is bougie and he's changing for her and he's not the same. Like, I feel like we hear this all the time. And another thing, that friend Jameson came off like he was in love with Patrick. Like, I need to understand why you're this upset. Y'all are adults. The fact that this man Patrick had never had another serious relationship spoke volumes about whatever his situation is. Like, I was actually surprised at how mature he was, considering like you have never really had a long-term relationship like that. So therefore you have a best friend that's crying because you're getting married. Oh my God. Her side of the family wants for Pat to check his family. Like, check your family, get your family together, let them know this relationship matters to you, whatever you gotta do, but do something, because we don't like the fact that we accept you and y'all don't accept my sister. That's just ridiculous. And I get it, but that is also something, like I said, that we have seen over and over again on this show. So the oldest sister speaks about how when Patrick first met her and he was leaving, he was like, okay, bye, love you. And she was like, you just met me, how can you love me? Like, that's so disingenuous. And, because of that, she now doesn't know whether he's real or not. I just kind of feel like that's ridiculous. Like, that you dug that deep into that, Some people, feel like, that, got love for you, baby. Like, all right, love y'all. Y'all be safe. If you have a nice connection with somebody, I don't understand why that had to be seen as a negative. That's so weird for something so trivial to make you all of a sudden feel like somebody is hiding something. Like, whoa, trust issues, maybe just a little bit. Okay, his family thinks that Brittney needs to learn how to engage with them more, and they are worried that he will lose himself trying to arise to her high standards. And I feel like I wish people would stop babying grown-ass men. Like, what's the worst that can happen here? Like, he's gonna make a lot of money, save money, have a nice house, go on vacations, have children, like invest his money, have rental properties. Like, what's the worst that can happen here? Like, by arising to her high standards. I cannot. I wish y'all would stop babying men the way y'all do. This is ridiculous. How codependent are y'all on him, or do y'all want him to be, to where you think a grown-ass man is going to, be under so much pressure to have a nice life? Like, get out of my face with this. Like, it just seems stupid. Okay, at the end of the day, it just seems stupid to me. And most of the time, like, not to say that it doesn't happen, I don't really like to, act as if when I say things and make generalizations that it's always the case. Just, if you didn't know, generalization does not mean that everybody is this way, okay? But to me, what I notice more is that women tend to lose themselves in relationships more than men do. Okay, so seeing the way Patrick handles a lot of these situations, when he wants to assert himself, he seems to be able to speak up and assert himself very well. So I don't think that he would be in a situation where this woman is like emotionally abusing him or something like that. Like, that's not the vibe that I get from her at all. In all honesty, she doesn't even like to fight. She retreats into herself. So why would it come off as if she's just going to be so terrible to him? Like, I don't know what is going on here. So they separate. And his sister wants to address this gold digger comment that I think the younger sister mentioned, how from their perspective, his family feels like Brittney is a gold digger. And she wanted to, address the semantics of that word, because bougie and gold digger are not the same thing, which I understand. But negative connotation is negative connotation. So it's just kind of like, yeah, but that doesn't make it any better that you think she's bougie. But really, she's just uncomfortable and doesn't know how to engage. And throughout the episode, you find out that she's so afraid that people are going to judge her that she doesn't like to really, engage or get comfortable. And I totally understand that. I am definitely one of those people that sometimes I completely shut down because I know I'm going to bother somebody by just being. Like, you just be like, okay, I'm going to tap out of this. And then you're like Beyonce at a basketball game. So while, they're having this conversation, they're waiting on Brittney, but she had to write all the questions down that they were going to ask her. And they're complaining about how long it took her and looking at imaginary watches and all of that. And it was just kind of already starting off on a negative foot as far as I was concerned. They seem to think the worst of her, throughout the questions. Like, it is just a lot of thinking the absolute worst of someone. And I just, people do that. That's what they do. But I don't know. It's really annoying. The cousin doesn't believe the wedding could be $50,000. Okay. And then Jameson, the friend, loses his mind about it. Okay. And was like, oh, he'd sell you before he'd pay $50,000 for a wedding. And even the sister was like, whoa. And they laugh it off, which is actually quite disturbing to me, that y'all can find humor in him completely being irrational, because y'all don't want to say, hey, you in love with my brother or what? Like, pull it back some, bro. Your slip is showing, okay? You're doing a little bit too much. It's coming off, like you dream about him at night. But I thought that comment was so off brand and terrible for him to say, and very telling of his true disdain for her, okay? And she says, well, both Patrick and I make six figures. And I was like, what the fuck? What are we talking about here? What are we talking? You mad that they wedding gonna cost $50,000 like they both work down at the McDonald's or something, like they making 30K a year. Then people making six figures, which means they make 100,000 or more a year, both of them. So they bringing in two to $300,000 a year as a couple, and you worrying about a $50,000 wedding? First of all, you shouldn't even be worried about that because that's none of your business. What I really didn't like is later on how Patrick felt the need to check her for sharing it, when at the end of the day, like, who cares? He shouldn't have been that bothered either way, whether he knew that information or not. He was way too bothered by it. Jameson feels like Brittany's bouginess is rubbing off on Patrick, and he doesn't know Pat anymore. So she goes upstairs and he follows her to tell her not to run off again because he doesn't want Pat to think that he did something to her. So he didn't go up there to apologize for overreacting to something that has nothing to do with him. Oh no, he wants to make sure that Pat knows he didn't do anything wrong when actually he did. Okay, because you start to go in on her as if like this is something to be upset about, and now she feels bad like she's done something wrong when really you overreacted because something's wrong with you. I cannot, y'all. So outside, Patrick is talking to her sisters, and he comments on the oldest sister comment about him saying that he loved her. He says that I can tell if I connect with someone when I first meet them, and I can, love you. I don't have to be in love with you to have love for you. I love you as a person. If you, die tomorrow, I would be saddened, even though I met you, today, okay? I love my girl, and you're my girl sister. You're going to be a part of my family because I feel like I want to be with her for a long time. So yeah, I love you. There's some love there, okay? Just somebody that is obviously, I think, trying to create a family with somebody. I don't know what their situation is, but he seems to me like somebody that's kind of in touch with their feelings. So, and not in a negative way, you know what I'm saying? Not like his friend, but you can tell that there's definitely been some emotional support that he's been able to give to Jameson, because it's to the point where now Jameson is having a problem standing on his own 2 feet in his life. Okay, because that's the only thing I could think of as to why you were getting so upset, as if he's been lying to you this whole time, because you've been talking about how hard it is for you to make ends meet, just because that's not his situation. Like, of course, what is he supposed to tell you? Yeah, while you struggling, I'm balling over here. No, he's just gonna listen to you, be a sounding board, and keep his business to himself, as to not make you feel like shit. And really, that's what this is about. You feel like shit now that you done found out he not struggling like you struggling. And that sister, the sister was blushing when he said, that he loves her. And I feel like she's somebody that doesn't have confidence and probably is not comfortable with men being endearing or sweet to her if it isn't coming from a sexual place. They ask if he has the ability to stand up for her against his family, and he says that he will always have her back, and that makes everybody feel good. Her mom and her sisters feel good about that. So, they really like him anyway. I feel like he's soft around the eyes. Whenever you're soft around the eyes, you come off like, you must have a good temperament, or, easy to get along with, like Omarion and stuff. You're soft around the eyes. At dinner, when they sit down, they're talking about the date, and they get on how Brittney ran off from the conversation with Jameson, and Jameson gets up to go into the other room to cry. And I was just like, it's not that I don't care or don't feel like men should cry. I definitely feel like men should cry. That's ridiculous. If you feel like you gotta cry, cry. But I also feel like I didn't understand why he was crying. You know what I'm saying? It almost like he's so afraid to upset his friendship with Pat. And I guess it's because he feels like it's already coming to an end in the way that it once was, because y'all are adults and y'all are going to have families and other people that y'all are going to make lives with. So now you have to fit into a new space. And that's just all it is. I can remember having somewhat of a reaction like this when I was in middle school, when my cousin Jermaine got really serious with his first girlfriend. And I really had a hard time with it because we were always together. And this now, meant that I didn't have, the person that was close to me on my, in my same age group, age level or whatever. He was always the closest to me, and it kind of created this separation. and I felt some type of way about it. But I was like 13. You know. Like I was kind of like really young, 12 or something like that. So I feel like that's different. And dude's like 30, it's different. Brittney goes to check on him, which I felt like she shouldn't have had to do. I feel like if Pat was going to go in there and check on him anyway, it should have been Pat that went and checked on him. She didn't need to be responsible for his emotions as far as I'm concerned. But Pat goes in there and he cries to Pat about how he's not sharing, his life with him. Not really. You're not being honest with me about what's going on. And Pat at some point is going to have to take responsibility for compartmentalizing his life in that way. In some way, you have not been being honest with your friend about what is really happening in this relationship in order to make him feel comfortable. And now it's coming to a head because he has to deal with the fact that it's not what he thought it was. Yeah, that's your fault. But the fact that he's so volatile in the first place, homeboy needs therapy all on his own. So they talked to Tracy. Pat's exercise went well. Brittney's did not. Okay, Jameson is still in their childhood, and Brittney has to not care about what other people think about her. She cares entirely too much about what people think about her. It's an extension of that relationship that she was in, that forces her to be insecure and not know how to self-soothe or self-validate. More so self-validate than anything else. Pat and Jameson talk, and he apologizes for putting walls up instead of boundaries, because that's what should have happened. But I guess he felt like son couldn't take it, which, we understand. Pat tells him to, basically in the nicest way possible to get with it or get going, because, he basically said, look, bruh, you getting one extra person, okay? It's not just me no more, it's her, because me and her are one. And that was the nicest way of saying, if you want to be my friend, if you want to continue to have any relationship with me at all, you're going to deal with this. Okay? And I was like, yeah, he needed to hear that. And that was a lovely way to say it. And then Pat reads Jameson his vows. Jamila, which is Pat's sister, and Brittney talk. And she says she wants to be vulnerable with her for the first time, and they have a conversation about that past relationship and how hard that was on her and how that really did, affect her in a way that she's not completely healed from it yet. Which makes Jamila feel so much better about her and have a better understanding. So now they're in a good place. And she reads her vows to her. So that was cute. And then at the end, everyone gives their blessing. And I believe that they went ahead and got married. And Jameson was there as a groomsman in the whole nine. And I'm like, of course he was. He's not about to really lose his friend, because this might be Pat's first wife. Look, something tells me, homeboy, ain't gonna give up that easy. Okay? But either way, y'all, Family or Fiance was entertaining, but a bit repetitive, I have to say. You know what I mean? Like a switch up, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Can we get a switch up? Something. Okay? Look, anyway. I love y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one.